The last part of today's video focuses on personal ethics and values. I've added this part recently since many students wanted to know what their values are and how they affect their decision making. Personal values determine what things are important to us and are reflected in the way we act. They affect everyday life choices such as where do you buy your groceries or how do you spend your spare time? Do you cheat on exams, etc. Values can be divided in desirable life goals, happiness, success, and guiding principles. For example, hardworking or honesty. Simply put, the goals tell us where we want to be, and the guiding principles tell us what we are willing to do, how we get to our goals. For example, some people want to be rich. That's a desirable life goal. If a person also values integrity, hard work, ethical conduct, and giving back to society, they may try to achieve this goal of becoming rich by starting a social enterprise, something we'll learn about later in the semester. On the other hand, if a person lacks integrity, is malicious, and wants to take advantage of people, he or she might open a payday loan agency or some other sleazy organization to make quick money. If you are aware of your values, they will guide your life towards goals. On the other hand, if you do not know your values, your actions might be affected by habits, impulses, and customs. You value a healthy lifestyle? Well, if so, you probably work out in one way or the other and eat healthy. If you are not aware of your value, you might still work out, but you're probably more likely to skip a workout or cheat on your diet. Now, you may wonder if it's that easy, why don't we just write down our values and live by them? Well, values are adopted in a piecemeal fashion from friends, parents, the media, your business ethics professor, heroes, maybe your business ethics professor, and so on. Consequently, they may not be very coherent, and moreover, they can contradict each other in certain situations. For example, most people value truth and loyalty, at least to some degree, I would argue. But what if a good friend asks if you have anything important to do over the weekend, or if you could help him or her move, but you'd rather enjoy a lazy day doing nothing? How do you think your good friend would react if you just tell him the truth? I've absolutely nothing to do, and you know what? I would like to keep it that way. Maybe if you add a good reason like, I haven't had a day off in ages and I need time to recover. But don't forget, you can only say that if it's true, of course. Some people value justice and mercy, but should they forgive a burglar or call the police if they catch somebody breaking into the house? It is easy to be true to your own values when nothing is at stake. However, in challenging times, when different values are at stake, you will be able to know what value you actually care more about. Are you gonna help your friend? I sure hope so. If that sounds too difficult, you can also visit the following homepage and answer some questions. Here, for example, you see how much I, in the green bars, value emotional experiences, normative standards, religious principles, benevolent consequences, and malicious intentions. The brown bars represent averages for all males who took the same test, while the orange bars represent averages for all females who took the test. Here you see my results for the Moral Foundations questionnaire. As you can see, while I'm clearly concerned about harm and fairness, just like most people, I don't seem to be very loyal or care much for authority or purity. That's an interesting finding. Well, once you fill out the questionnaires, you should have an idea what your values are. But that does still not mean that you actually act according to your values. Hence, we very briefly talk about giving voice to values, how to speak your mind when you know what is right. I will only cover the very basics, but I encourage you to read the book if you're interested in this topic. The basic premise of giving voice to values is that people know what is right, but often they do not have the courage to step up and voice their values to prevent misconduct. They want to provide input in times of ethical conflict using their own values, but don't know how. So giving voice to values tries to support you when you want to speak up or act on your own values. What should you say and do? How could you be most effective? So here are the steps. We'll go over them again during our online class too, but it's very important for you to at least understand the foundation of the concept. So the easiest question you have to ask yourself is, what is the right decision or action? And again, that is usually very intuitive. You see something from happening and you know it's right or wrong. Then you should put yourself in the other person's shoe and think about what are the main arguments against this course of action that we are likely to encounter. Meaning, what will the other person say? Next, we need to answer what are the reasons and rationalizations we will need to address. Don't forget, we just talked about moral disengagement. Moral disengagement are the rationalization strategies. So the question is, how can the other person support the argument, even though the argument is unethical or the action is unethical? So put yourself in the other person's shoe and anticipate what moral disengagement strategies they will use. The next question focuses on the why the other person might disagree with you. So ask yourself, what is at stake for the key parties, including those who disagree with us? Now that you understand what the other person will likely say, how they may support their point of view, and why they think that way, we can assess what's at stake for us. Why is it important to us? Next, we can start to draft our argument. What are the most powerful and pervasive responses to the reasons and rationalizations we need to address? So again, once you have the list of all the things that a person will say, come up with counter-arguments. Finally, we just have to know to whom, when, and in what context we should make the argument. That is it. I encourage you to give it a try, and as I said, we'll also apply it during our next online class. Well, please let me know if you have any questions, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon in our online class. Have a wonderful day.